Report Builder is targeted at power users, people who spend their day making decisions based on data, as opposed to people who make their living working with the technical side of data. Report Builder 1.0, introduced so very long ago with SQL Server 2005, was built as a true end-user tool for business people. It included limited report layout options and only allowed users to query a report model rather than direct queries against a back-end data store. Report Builder 2.0 gave the tool its Office-like interface and ribbon, enabled direct queries used against data stores, and fully supported all report layout options. And then Report Builder 3.0, introduced with SQL Server 2008 R2, was an evolutionary tool that builds on version 2.0 by supporting all the new reporting features as well as adding a couple of nice enhancements to make report building faster. And the current version of Report Builder, for which Microsoft has dropped the version number as part of the name, is incrementally better than before. It has most certainly turned into a mature report building tool. Report Builder is available in two versions, Standalone and Click Once. The differences between the two versions is how each is packaged for distribution and how you start the application. To install the Standalone version, you have to download an MSI Microsoft Installer package from Microsoft's website and install it on your local machine like you would any typical Windows application. Oddly, the standalone version is not included on the SQL Server Distribution DVD. To start the standalone version, you click the shortcut from Windows Start menu or elsewhere on your machine, again like any other local Windows application. Then the Click Once version is included on the DVD, the SQL Server 2012 DVD, and the installation program automatically installs Report Builder on the report server, not as a client application. So it's an application that's served from the server. This version of Report Builder is packaged for delivery from a web page through Click Once, which is Microsoft's technology for simplified application installation through a single click on a web page. When a user clicks the Report Builder button from Report Manager, it verifies the system requirements it needs. If necessary, it downloads the distribution package from the report server after you give it permission in the Application Run Security Warning dialog box, and then installs Report Builder on the user's machine. And then finally it starts the application. Otherwise, if Report Builder is already installed, Click Once makes sure it's the latest version and starts it without reinstalling it. This is a nice way to make sure users always use the latest version and avoids needing to install a local copy, although it starts up a bit slower than the standalone version. Now a little bit about terminology. Calling these two different things versions of Report Builder is a bit misleading. But in this case, I'm using Microsoft's terminology. There's no discernible difference in the quote versions when you run them to create reports. The only difference is how they're packaged for deployment to your local machine and how you start them. This could easily mean that you have two copies of Report Builder installed, standalone and Click Once. If you install the standalone version and then also click the Report Builder button in Report Manager. Unfortunately, the latter option, where you're starting the Click Once version, doesn't start the standalone version, even if it's installed on the local machine. Okay, so be aware of that little wrinkle. That's more about how Click Once is implemented, as opposed to something that's inherently a problem within Report Builder. Report Builder is available in a couple dozen languages. You can select the language version that you want when you download the standalone version from Microsoft, and you can download and install multiple language versions. All language versions of the Click Once distribution are installed on the report server during SQL Server installation. When a user clicks the Report Builder button in Report Manager, Click Once downloads and installs the language version that matches the culture setting of the user's machine. If there's no match, then Click Once installs the English version, which you'd expect. Microsoft is largely an English-speaking company, so that's the default. Now, you can uninstall the standalone version from the Window Control Panel's Programs and Features applet, like any other local Windows application. It is, in fact, a local desktop application. But You can't uninstall the Click Once version of Report Builder from the report server independently of SQL Server. And there really doesn't seem to be an easy way to uninstall a Click Once application like Report Builder from a client machine without clearing the cache of all Click Once applications on the local machine. So just be aware that you may have some management issues with using the Click Once version. Simplifies a lot of things, but can complicate other things. Okay, so which version of Report Builder should you use? Well, there's really no clear answer to that question. So here I have a table that shows the main differences. So installation, for the standalone, you have to download and install. Click Once, you have to verify and download. Click Once on the server is installed with SQL Server. So keep in mind that there's really two installations of the Click Once version going on. When you install SQL Server on the server, and then before the client can use it on a local machine. And then updates, you have to manually update the standalone version. There's no built-in updating. Click Once, nice thing about that is it's automatically updated. When the user clicks on that link, it checks to make sure that the user has that latest version. And then the server version of Click Once is part of SQL Server updates. So you'll get the latest versions anytime you update your SQL Server. And then the start, as I explained, the standalone is just a regular Windows start from the Start button. Click Once client is from the Report Manager, and you can't run the server version directly. It's installed on the server just so that you can install it on the client. As far as operation, building reports, doing things, all the feature set of the version, there's no discernible difference between the standalone and Click Once. As far as the connection, you have to create a manual connection. The Click Once version, another benefit of using that version is that Report Builder will automatically by default use a connection to that same report server that it downloaded that version of Report Builder from. So it saves you a little bit of a step. And then as far as uninstalling, standalone version again is uninstalled in Programs and Features just like any other Windows desktop application. Click Once, you uninstall the client version, you uninstall when you uninstall all Click Once applications. And then on the server, if you uninstall SQL Server from the server machine, then you'll uninstall the server version of Click Once. Okay, so from a system admin's perspective, Click Once is an easier method of distribution because you don't have to visit each user's machine to install Report Builder or explain to each user how to download and install it. It's installed, updated, and uninstalled on the report server automatically with SQL Server.